Hello, people. We are live. Welcome to Chat Her Up. Today, we are going to recap. Well, first of all, let me tell you, I'm Joy. There's a couple of people that are going to pipe in, but they're not on time. I'm an on time type of girl. So if I say six, I'm here at six. Everybody's gonna pipe in eventually. But today we're going to recap the Housewives of New Jersey, um, which was season 14, episode 5, which was titled Glitz and Blitz. Like I said, I'm gonna have a few people pipe in. I'm sure Demisio's gonna be here, and Montanique, and possibly Callie. Whether or not they watched, I don't know. They not crazy about New Jersey at all, but Demisio and I are Jersey heads, so we're definitely tuned in. But anyway, hey Demisio, he just piped in, y'all. You all
Hey,
I just laid it out for everything and said what we're gonna do and what episode it is. So I haven't done much, but I do want to mention there is all kinds of Cali stick moments that not Cali sticks. Well, I always call it Cali stick, chapstick moments of the week that we can discuss. Of course, the biggest one is that people, and I only say people because I do like to mention reputable bloggers and vlogs that come out. I don't, not that other people aren't, but I know that People is. People magazine, or it's no longer magazine, but People is reporting that New Jersey will not have a regular reunion this year. It was said that reunions were used to kind of resolve situations, but this season, there doesn't seem like to be a resolution. Now, this has happened before in Bravo history. It actually happened in New York. We would hear the ramblings that somebody said something very ugly that was allegedly racist, and that people refused to show up on.
Ramona.
That was in New York, and they canceled the reunion for New York. And when they did, they totally revamped that entire um, series. So there is talk that they may revamp New Jersey as well. And this is where I would like to hear Demisio, if they take not necessarily the New York approach, but how they did Atlanta. Atlanta, they kept some, they rehired some back. Well, just let me lay it out. They kept Kenya, they kept Drew, and they, who else did they keep?
They brought back Portia.
Well, I
They
know
brought
that. I'm
back.
talking about who did they keep? Just let's do the
Oh, it's just Kenya and Drew did
okay.
as
So they
far as
only
people
kept
concerned.
Kenya and Drew. They brought back Cynthia as a friend and Portia full time. And I heard
And
that's
Shamia is full time.
right. And Shamia. Shamia has been a friend. So Shamia is now full time. And then they added 3 new girls. So let's say that they take the Atlanta approach, because it wasn't that the New York approach was bad, but people had kind of gotten used to some of the antics in New York. So I'm not saying that New York won't pick up and do better. I couldn't get into New York, but that doesn't mean anything because I couldn't get into the original New York. And I'd only seen one season of New York ever, and that was their very last season before they did the switch up. So if you were Andy Cohen and they're taking the Portia approach, who would you keep? If you could bring back, who would you bring back? And maybe a friends to make full time. What do you think?
I'm gonna say that Me personally, as I have been advocating since the season started and before, personally, I think Marge is the only one that should go. But if we're going to take the New York approach or well the Atlanta approach, I think they definitely should keep Teresa, Jennifer, Aiden, Dolores can stay. Who else? Jen Fessler. I'd like to see her stay as a friend of, and Jackie. They can keep them as friends, and then keep Teresa, Jennifer, and Dolores, and then get new people.
And see, I would say the only people that I would keep on the staff, I wouldn't mind a Jim Fessler. I just don't think that Jen would stay because she was very adamant that she wouldn't stay if Margaret didn't. So I take them as an elimination just off top. Marge has to go. She really is the problem. I
Yeah,
think that Teresa and Melissa would be much further along, or at the very least talking, had she not been there, because she's really the issue.
yeah.
She really, really is the issue. But taking the Atlanta approach, I would definitely, I like Jennifer. Jennifer is the comedy relief. I personally would not, I don't think I would want to watch if I don't know if I would watch if they kept Melissa and got rid of Teresa, but I would probably pipe in just to see, because Melissa doesn't seem, and it's not because for reasons that most people think. It's not that I don't necessarily not like Melissa. The problem that I have with Melissa is that she really has been riding Teresa's coattail. And you can tell how back she is now. And when I mean back, she sits at the table, she doesn't say anything. All she's been doing in episodes and groups is just making funny faces. And she doesn't, I don't believe she can stand on her own. I actually have always liked Jackie, even when she was anti-Teresa. I actually liked Jackie. I always thought that she was a smart girl. But she doesn't, I like this Jackie a little bit more, because I didn't like watching Jackie. I didn't like watching her fall apart. And I saw that and I could never get the image out of my head. And I like that she's standing, and I like that she's even honest, saying, look, I already know what Teresa and them trying to do. It's not about a team or a fold, but I'm standing on what I'm standing on. And I think I do like how they are being a little bit more transparent with the schemes and stuff. And we'll talk about that. And what I mean by that, the storylines, they're actually allowing us to hear about a storyline last season. Although I didn't like how Bravo presented it this season. And I'll explain that a little bit later, because Bravo is letting us see some things that this season that they didn't last season that I think were important. And Demisio and I were kind of talking about it earlier today, and we'll get there. But yeah, I would keep Jennifer. To me, Jennifer is funny. Funny people have to stay on the show. You can't, you got to have some comedy relief. Even if you're laughing at her, whatever, she's funny. She quick wit and she's funny. I like Jackie. I really like Teresa. And that's all I would keep, not even Dolores. I mean, Dolores as a person, it seemed like she a cool chick. Of all of them, she seems the most normal, like for real. And I believe she's the most loyal. But it's not that she's a bad person. I just don't always think she, right now, isn't making great television. So it's not that I dislike
And
her.
can I say Teresa is actually incredibly funny without even trying?
She is. Well, to me, that was always her appeal. Teresa's appeal was always that she was kind of dingy. She said some off things, but then sometimes you would see her and she was like, oh yeah, she's not as stupid as people want to make her out to be. It's just like even this episode when she was talking to Danielle about, oh no, these are the basics. And she was explaining the basics is good. That's what people buy over and over and over and over and over again. It doesn't mean that it's a bad look. You want to make basics. Basics is what people buy. I would say there are people that kind of hone in on that. I think skims are very basic. I've been saying every time I see it, but you do have to remember that that's for some people, that's their appeal. Some things are
Because
just
when Teresa called Margaret Sherlock Holmes, I died.
she is like I for the life of me, I don't understand why people had so much problem with what Bo Dietl did when Margaret sits up in that raggedy house and sit up there talking about people like all day. Like every source of gossip, of drama that has come to this screen has roots back to um
Proud mouth.
Margaret, regardless if she said it directly or indirectly. I don't care if we're talking about who Jennifer husband was having an affair with, where he sleeps. All of that is gossip that came from her talking about Jackie's husband having an affair. That still came from Margaret's house. I mean, Margaret's own husband said that. Like for real, for real. All the stuff from Louis was coming out of her mouth. And I'm even, I get how blogs work. Blogs work, which I'm really bothered by because I'm a vlogger, but we don't break news on purpose. And we've had some news to break. We just wait for somebody else. Because while this is entertainment, it can have real life consequences for those other people, for people involved. So I'm really squeamish about doing that. I will repeat what I did here and I'll say where I repeated it, but I don't like breaking news, but these bloggers are creating storylines for these reality shows and it irritates me. It irritates me. It really irritates me. These Twitter handles or X handles, whatever it irritates me because they are messing up this show. The talent and the people who do what we now, this is our version of press. This is what we read. We read vlogs. Nobody reads the paper anymore. Nobody really goes to the grocery store and get the gossip, the acquire or whatever. We log into our computers. And these people should not be creating the stories that we watch on television. The reason that reality TV is losing its luster, the reason that the ratings are going down is because we already know what's going on. Because they put it on their blogs. They put it on their Twitter handles. That's the problem. The talent is too close to the press. And it's messing
I
up
agree.
reality TV. It's messing up reality TV. The reason I keep saying this, I'll say it every week. The reason that Housewives of Salt Lake City was such a bombshell last year is because not the what happened at the finale didn't leak. Nobody said anything. And kudos to the producers and the Housewives on Salt Lake because
Because
nobody knew that was coming.
Because I'll say this, I don't really mind the online stuff, but I did enjoy it really a lot more when we found out through Housewives when they would go on like press and they would go like watch What Happens Live, or they would be on live or something like that, or they go like do an interview with Wendy Williams or something,
Right.
and they'll like throw little hints like, oh, I don't really like her right now, but we didn't know why. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like when the Erica Jane scandal was coming out, it's like we all knew what was going on with Erica, but we didn't like know that Sutton was like leading the charge. Like we didn't know any of those things. Like when I will never forget it because I had just joined, and they are a really good page, you guys. So the people that are watching, please go and watch and support the Lean Cortez. I love him very much. I remember I had just started watching their stuff, and later on started reviewing with them later on. But I remember when we first like did the little trailer reaction, they did the little reaction to it and stuff like that, and they made a live and stuff about it. And even just seeing it on the internet, like on Twitter and YouTube, I remember when we first saw the trailer when Erica was like, or what? Yeah, the internet was in shambles. We was like, oh my God, like what?
What's the name of that? What's the name of that page again?
It's called The Lean.
Oh, The Lean.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
go and support. They review Housewives and stuff too. So go and support Cortez. But yes, I remember when that like first happened, like how in shambles the internet was. It was like, oh my god, like that was very cunty of Erica, and we was just like ready and all of that because we was just getting to know Sutton. That was her first time as a diamond holder and like everything. So it was all of that was like and seeing the re get cussed out by Garcelle, like we were all in
Yeah,
shambles.
that's
So
why we're learning too much too early, and it muddies up your viewing. Like there are certain reality shows that I used to watch. I used to be in 100 groups on Facebook. A lot of them, I was so proud of my little self control. I exited a whole bunch of groups. Now it's a few that I'm in, but some of the bigger ones that seem to be so toxic, I just couldn't. I just had to walk away from. It was just
yeah,
it's
especially
ridiculous.
during the whole Candace versus Monique thing, it was a mess.
Oh well, to me, that's when Potomac really blew up because it's me and well not me and but my Tanique and I used to say all the time, did nobody watch uh Potomac, but like me and Montanique and a few other people, and I'm over exaggerating, of course, but it was a cute, non-toxic show, and Monique kind of changed the narrative where it just became weird. Now, people could say that that's what happens over time, and that's possible, but the energy that she brought was a little bit different, particularly toward which would be her end in season 5. It was just different. But anyway, that's the chapstick moment of the week. And we could go ahead and start reviewing this episode because I do want
You
to
can
keep this
start it
running.
off.
So this episode, they always start cutesy, but I didn't really think nothing much of Dolores and what's his name, Frank, going out to eat and him practicing how he would propose to his. I don't know, it was something about that seemed so icky to me. I don't know how I would feel. I don't care how close my husband is with his ex-wife. I don't know how I would feel about that.
But you got to think about it though. This has been their relationship dynamic for
I know.
years.
I get it, but you ain't got to practice actually getting on your knee in no public place to do that, because all it takes is just one person to have taken a picture and sent it around. It's like, yo, Frank proposed to Dolores. Like I think, nobody did that I know of, but it would only take one person to kind of mess up a narrative.
That's true.
That's all. I would
But I always love their family dynamic. I've always said they need their own show.
And I will even say the respect that I have for, the fact that, and I'm sure it may not have been that way when they were children, because Dolores left Frank when she was pregnant. So I don't know which one it is, but they've been divorced for a very long time. And while I'm 100% fine with an ex, getting along for their children, and I love their dynamic. I think that they have a perfect example of it's a blended family. The mere fact that all of them get together with their significant others, with their children, is really good. It's healthy. It looks healthy now. I don't know if it was always that way. It would be interesting to have that conversation with Dolores if she would ever get interviewed. Like, was it always that way? Because right now they're so far removed. I think the baby is 30.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time, and she was pregnant with one of them. I don't know which one is
I'm
older.
guessing it was the last one, which I don't know which
Frankie,
one
was
is
it
older.
Frank? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm thinking Frankie is the youngest.
I'm not sure which one is older, the girl or Frankie Jr.
I'm not sure either. Yeah. So I mean, it's good though, and it's good to see on television, because we watched another show that we gonna review next, Huntsville, where a Love and Marriage Huntsville, where that's so toxic. They just can't get it together. But anyway, the girls, it looked like three of the girls. Danielle, she does look pretty in her confessionals. Danielle, Melissa, and what's the corpse bride's real name? Rachel.
Oh
Rachel
my god.
went to little go-karting thing to have, and they brought their children, which seemed fun. And they sat around and talked. What you think about that? They weren't really talking about anything, but they were kind of talking about um well, the conversation that stands out is that Melissa mentioned that she made her son go say hi to Teresa.
Of course, she brought up Teresa as usual.
I said that's the only time they play what she says. I'm totally convinced of that. That they, like, Melissa doesn't, I'm sure she talks way more than what they air, but they only air what she says about Teresa. Her value on this show is based around Teresa. I keep saying it. That's really why I say that I don't think she would be a better fit to stay. Because without Teresa, what is Melissa? I'm not saying that I'm not talking about, although I don't like how she came on the show, how she has moved, and how she tends to always associate herself with whomever Teresa's beefing. It just seems to always work like that. But it is what it is. She's friends with whoever she's friends with. My issue with her is that she doesn't seem to stand as a person as far as being on this show. Like, what would she do? What does she bring? That's why.
Because if Joe wasn't her husband, maybe she would have been gone a long time ago.
Right. But Joe, and there's an argument that this has happened before. Although I thought Cynthia's value on Atlanta was a little bit different, but Peter was the reason why she was picked. She's even honest about that. She was doing a recent interview, which I thought was so cute. Her and Peter were doing together, and she basically said, "I was cast because of you." And shortly after it, you saw her kind of fall apart. So I don't know, but
I mean, yeah, you can say that, but Cynthia is still a whole lot different from Melissa
I agree.
because
100%. I agree. Because she attached herself with whoever the woman was, which I did wonder was strategic at some point. But she did attach herself with
at least
Peter.
Cynthia had a personal storyline.
And she did. And she did.
So,
She ran. You're correct. You're actually correct. Yeah. I don't even argue that. But I don't see that from Melissa. That's the issue. I just don't. So she would be the one, if I had any power, and I don't, I would definitely drop. To me, but the choice between Teresa and Melissa is easy. But let's keep on going. Or I wouldn't even say it would be interesting if they did keep her to downgrade her to a friend and see if she responds probably differently. I have a feeling that she would. I really do think so. But
oh
anyway,
yeah, she'll make up with Teresa in a heartbeat if that
I
happens.
believe that. I totally, absolutely believe that. But I kind of get a feeling like they got a talking to in Potomac. They're definitely getting a talking to now.
Oh,
Anyway,
absolutely.
Jennifer had a little spa day, looks like, and she invited Teresa, and they called Jackie on the phone. And I thought that was a very interesting conversation. Where Jackie, here's a question. Do you think Jackie, like, this is a real question, and I'm asking this question. We forgot to review it 1 through 10, by the way. What did y'all think about this episode? I thought this was a much better episode than 1 through 10.
Same. I would give it a 7.
I thought it was a much better. I would give it a 7 or 8. Yeah. Because we actually have things to talk about. But I did want to mention, do you think if Jackie's response to Teresa and Jennifer is strategic, or do you think she genuinely has changed because of that book and she decided to let it all go?
I mean, I just feel like she really has changed. Like I said on the internet today, I'm just like, to be honest with y'all, what do Jackie and Teresa really have to be fighting about? That's really old, actually. Like very old news. They didn't really, you know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing to still be harping on. Like Jackie and Teresa have been around each other for the past almost 2 years. It hasn't been really nothing that serious to the point to where they should still be like, you know, bumping heads. You know what I'm saying? Like it's they've moved on. Clearly, Teresa doesn't care about that anymore. Clearly, Jackie has moved on from that too. Like I don't understand what's the big deal. People have made up on these shows for far worse.
I thought it was so interesting that Melissa, because I was thinking about this, I thought it was so interesting that Melissa actually said out of her mouth is that she hurt you. And I'll never let you forget that. And I'm like, y'all have all been hurting each other and all forgiven. Because we can go all the way back to when the other Jacqueline, the original Jacqueline, said that Joe was, she walked in and he was doing some girl on a desk. Like she forgave her. They move on for whatever her reasons. I was like, Margaret herself said that Jennifer, all of that stuff about Jennifer's husband, and it was true, but she said that stuff about Jennifer's husband cheating with whomever he worked with and that he sleeps in the house, and she forgave her. So I was like, it's been a lot of forgiving. I was like, Jennifer actually said last season that you were getting out of the car with a girl, with some actor, and was caught. Like, and you're for trying to forgive her. So only Jackie can forgive Teresa because it
Yes,
didn't
it's so
happen.
hypocritical.
It was
Like
so many
the
times when this
most
happened on this series,
series,
and people
particularly,
forgive
like
people.
it's
And it was many,
crazy.
many seasons ago. I could kind of understand if it was fresh, like the Melissa and Jennifer stuff. It just happened last season.
And then don't forget BravoCon.
And right. So that's why I was saying, like, I just didn't understand what the big deal was. People forgive and people move on. But
As I've said before, and I'll say it again, it reminds me of season 9 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when they were all coming after Lisa Vanderpump and they were mad at Camille for not jumping on the hate train just because her and Lisa Vanderpump like have their differences and gripes with each other. It reminds me of that so much, and like Camille told them on their reunion sheet, same thing that Jen Fessler told them. She told them, she was like, "You guys just want me to jump on that hate train," and like she tried to tell them because they was trying to make it seem like you say one thing to us about Lisa, and then you're another way with Lisa in her face. And Camille was like, "Why am I not allowed to have two independent thoughts? They both can exist, and that's true."
yeah, yeah,
She done things to Jackie, and Jackie might not necessarily probably like how Teresa handles things or goes about things. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like I said, it's old. That happened 2 seasons ago, 2 whole seasons ago. That was season 11. We're on season 14.
yeah.
What do Jackie and Teresa still have to be arguing about? The everything, like, baby, no, I don't blame Jackie. Baby, I have moved on in my life. I have changed. I have been through some harsh stuff over the past couple of years with her health and her eating and stuff like that. I understand why Jackie wants to let go of the negativity and try to be in a peaceful space. Like she kind of, and what it's given to me is Jackie just wants to be there.
It does. And I will also say, it felt like to me, this is a part that people aren't realizing. Well, I ain't gonna say people aren't, or I don't know if they're paying attention to. So let me just say this. Jackie and Margaret were allegedly real friends off camera. I think what's happened, and Jackie is telling us, when she was downgraded to a friend, and I know that Bravo allows you to say whatever you want when you leave or downgraded. It was said, and I don't know if this is true, but that Jackie asked to be downgraded. And I
Exactly.
and I think it was because of what did happen with Melissa and the fact that, I mean, not with Melissa, I'm sorry, with Teresa. And Jackie has said that she had to beg her husband to do this show. And she had promised him that he would not be in it in any way. And it was a whole season that was about him. So when she decided to step down, that's her way of excluding him. So now he's not required to come to any events. He's not asked. They don't have personal scenes that she has to lead or she has to show her family. I thought that was her way to do that. But I think that what happened with her relationships, particularly with Melissa and or more so with Margaret, is that she had expected them to make sure that she was still in all of the episodes. So it was disappointing to her that Marge wasn't advocating for her to be in episodes. Now, I don't think they're hurting for money, but you want to get paid, you want to get paid. And when you're a friend of, I think all of the ladies are like that as wives, but they leave more possibilities of getting episodes. Friend ofs are only paid per episodes that they show up. So if you're not inviting her to anything, she's not getting paid. She's not allowed. So when she was friend of and nobody's advocating for her, and her interactions with Marge became less and less and less, I think she felt some type of way. I think she realized that her relationship with Marge was situational. And that's a hard pill to swallow as a woman, because that has happened. I mean, some of us have had work friends that were really, really friends at work. And then maybe that person moved on or you moved on and you was like, yo, this is the girl I talked to. If we work at 8 hours, we talk 6.5.
Right, no, for
She knows my children. I know hers. I met her husband. She met mine. We know each other. We've bought each other birthday gifts and taken each other out for lunch and then skip work together. And then they move on and you're like, oh man, that relationship was situational. It wasn't. It was temporary. It wasn't for the long haul. That don't mean that we don't talk. It's no beef, but I miss my friend. I've had friends like that that I've worked with that have been teachers, and you be like, "Girl, I miss my friend." So I felt her. I think that's what's happening.
No, I agree 100%. Marge threw her to the wolves when she wasn't full time anymore.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what I think is happening. But I do like this Jackie. I hope that she
Oh,
continues
same.
to kind of stand strong. Also, I wanted to mention Marge's mother has the same disorder, by the way, that if you all watch Beverly Hills, that's the disorder that Sutton also has. When she said she's making her throw up, I already knew what it was. And I forgot what it's called, but I know it's a real thing because both my parents had it. My father's is no longer here, but my mother still has it. She's opened up her throat twice. It's something that when you swallow, it narrows at some point. So it makes you vomit. And that's why a lot of people who have it don't like to eat in public. My mother is one of them. I knew when Sutton was talking, but we had this conversation. If you watch Beverly Hills with us, because I talked about it, my mother, when we realized that she had it, actually vomited at a literal Red Lobster. And she projectile vomited. It was the grossest thing we've ever seen in our life. And we were like in the back room in this particular Red Lobster, and it was a whole bunch of us. It was like 15 of us at a table in the middle, and it was a whole bunch of like booths all around us. So they all witnessed it. So everybody got their food free. It was disgusting. So it really is a terrible, and a lot of people lose weight. My mother was a pretty heavy woman at some point. My mother is tiny. I don't even think for a woman that's 72 years old, she's not very tall. I think this could have been the smallest that she was since she was maybe like a teenager. I don't know what size she is, but I think she might wear between the 7, 8 or 9, 10. She's small. And she said food isn't fun. She has to think while she eats. It's not a fun situation to be in. So,
and I would hate that.
It's not fun. She says she hates it. She'll drink anything. So to keep a little weight on, she drinks a lot of smoothies. She drinks a lot of her food. But anyway, because she hates having that surgery. She says she's had it twice and it keeps coming back and she don't want to keep doing it. But anyway, let's go on to Teresa going over Danielle's house. Teresa goes over Danielle's house, and like I said, I think Danielle does look pretty in her confessionals, but she doesn't look like herself. But I do think she looks pretty. She has on red. It's maybe the red lipstick and the red dress, but I do think she looks pretty. She looks dolled up.
She's definitely got a little Botox over the break.
Yeah. I don't think you think she gets Botox.
Absolutely, you can tell.
Well, who got it real bad is Rachel because her face don't move. Her
I'm
angry
screaming,
face,
her and her
face,
Michael Jackson version 3 nose.
her face don't move. That's why I literally call her the bride corpse. If you look at that, the animation of the bride corpse and what it looks like, Tim Burton's is a cartoon. That's what she looks like. It almost looks like when her pictures are far away, it looks like she doesn't even have a nose at all. It's so weird. It is really, really weird. And she does have a nose. Because I remember watching it she does have a nose. But it looks really weird. I don't know if it's the angle that trips me out with her and the fact that her face don't move. Like it does not move at all. But anyway, you want to just skip to the end?
Yeah, because that's the only interesting thing.
Because it's really nothing that happened. I think it was a legitimate question for her to ask why we do need, before we go to the end, let's discuss Melissa and Jennifer having their conversation. Why do you think they're having this conversation?
Because they're definitely trying to get Jennifer on their side. And it's kind of like the same conversation that her and Melissa have had many times before that always ends the same damn way. Them arguing and fighting 9 times out of 10 because of Joe.
And but I think, I do agree that their issues really aren't about them two. It's really about Joe. And Melissa has admitted this before, but she doesn't do anything on a Joe end. He was, one time Joe was going, I think he threw I think they showed it on here. He threw an air thing, an air wave or something, and she called him little B-boy. When she did that, I don't know if you listened, Melissa actually said he's really mad at Teresa. He's just taking it out on you. And I do believe that. Because Jennifer has been such a hard and defender of Teresa. So I do believe that Jennifer is pushing, because she does defend her well, because she does. I think, and I know that her and Teresa's going to have a conversation later, and Teresa is not going to defend anybody, and Jennifer don't need nobody to defend for her, but I know that they're going to have that conversation later. But I think that that's really the reason. But I just found it so interesting that she was sitting across from her, and just last year she was talking about you kissing some dude in the back seat, but you don't want Jackie to forgive Teresa. And she did that 4 seasons ago. So it's so silly to me. But I agree that they keep having the same conversation over and over again. But Joe wants to be seen. Joe got to fight with somebody. And if his sister won't fight with him, he'll take Jennifer. Because that's his claim to fame.
Yeah, because Jen gonna fight with him.
I absolutely believe Teresa when she said that her dad, I think she told her dad or mom, one of them, that the reason that whole christening happened was because of Teresa shaking the table her first season. So he wanted a moment like that. So he shook the table. Like all of that, believe it or not, maybe not to the extent was planned, because while you can plan on your end, you can't plan how people are going to respond. That Joe, right. I do believe that. So he needs to fight with somebody. That's his claim to fame, fighting with his sister. And if he can't fight with his sister, I'm going to fight with her friend.
Well, he should be fighting with Margaret and Joe.
Yes. Yes. 100%. So anyway,
Wait, can we talk about how Jackie also had me dying when she told Teresa when she was like
you
when
got
you
a hard
told
on for my husband. Yeah.
no, when Jackie told Teresa, she was like, "Oh my God, Teresa." She said when you told John Fuda that he was a ride some what she call him, a ride attendant or something. She said I almost
Oh,
fell out my chair.
uh, um,
Oh, am I skipping ahead? Because I think that was
oh
after.
God, what is it called? The people who take your money. It's the people who take your money when you go, a parking attendant.
Yes.
A parking attendant.
But then we jumping ahead because I think no, we are because that was a preview for next week's episode. Damn, I'm thinking that
Oh
happened
yeah,
this
it
week.
is. Yeah,
I seen
but
that on
I
Instagram.
like it. Yeah, yeah. I
My bad.
yeah, you're
You,
right.
you you can go ahead with the dinner. I'm thinking that was this episode.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get on to the big one. The big one was them going to
Danielle's
Danielle's
brunch.
little bougie luncheon or whatever that was. And she invited everybody. Everybody showed up but Margaret. And
Sherlock Holmes.
right. Right. So they all sitting around the table and the conversation took a weird turn. Everybody trying to figure out where people stand, and people are all on Jackie at first about her. And that was cut up very poorly, by the way, Bravo people and editors. You could tell that something is so weird about that conversation. How Teresa was explaining herself to talking about that parking attendant didn't even make sense. You all definitely cut that scene up, and it didn't make sense. The scenes have to flow, and
And
that one
Teresa
didn't
did
flow.
say that it was Marge's fault when they were talking to Jackie.
She did, but that comes later. I think what you're missing, you're talking about the argument that, I mean, not the argument, the disagreement that we were having about. Okay, I'll tell y'all this, and maybe y'all remember it differently. Last season, there was a scene, the scene that really everybody's talking about, where Jennifer and Danielle, it was a scene where Danielle told Jennifer,
No. You
which one are
remember
you
in the
talking about?
group, you was like you were mad because Jennifer, the production didn't allow Jennifer to say that it was Marge's fault.
That's what I'm talking about. That's
But
what,
Teresa said it in that moment.
but
Teresa was like, "That was
Teresa
Marge."
wasn't even there. I think you're getting it confused. There, the scene.
No, they was just saying in general that the rumor was Marge's fault, though. She
Oh
was
yes,
saying that
I'm not
Jennifer
talking
didn't.
about my issue. I think I'm getting my issue was that particular scene that I'm specifically talking about. If you go back and watch the original one from last year, Jennifer did tell Danielle about the rumor, but she did not say that was Marge's fault. They cut that part out last season. They only put that in this season. That's what I'm saying. But
Oh, okay.
that's what I'm saying. They did not put that in originally. What you heard last season, they put in all the part about what Teresa believes this. They were creating a storyline, but they purposely left that line out. I'm going to prove it to you all and go back, and I'm going to see if I could do a video of last season and this season. They did not add that part. They purposely left it out last season. Now, at the end of last season, Teresa has a conversation, and you hear her say, well, this all comes from Margaret anyway. So, but we knew that it was a season last season where Jennifer and them were trying to take Margaret down. But if they had started that and had added that little bit of information, would have been helpful. Because although we knew that on the outside, everybody didn't know that that came directly from Melissa. I
Marge.
mean, from Marge. Nobody knew that. They just made it seem like this was a rumor that was just out there, and it was. But people were saying that it came from Marge, because I don't know if y'all know this. I don't know if this was fake, and it probably was. But somebody claimed that they had a screenshot of Melissa saying that somebody took a picture or something, and somebody said delete it. Now, that could have all been fake, because I've been seeing a lot of fake text messages recently on the Twitter. And they were claiming that this was related to this whole Melissa and this actor guy. Now, again, all of this could be fake, because that's why I don't like stuff that makes it online to make it on these shows, because a lot of this stuff is fake. It's just like this whole Louis case that everybody keeps want to say that Louis is suing the Fooders for $5 million. And I'm like, they legally can't sue each other while they're under contract. So for slander, you literally can't do that. If that was the case, you don't think Candy would have sued Portia in Atlanta when she said that girl had a sex dungeon and was going to drug Portia and rape her?
Okay, because she showed sent her a cease and desist.
That's all you can do. And say you can't talk about me. But that's it. That's all you can do. But they could not work on this show right now and sue one another. The $5 million lawsuit is Louis suing his ex-girlfriend. Now, he may have added Margaret in there about some information, but he can't even sue Margaret, because all of this lawsuit that they're talking about that's not playing out, Louis won. The judge literally said that this woman had been stalking him. That's in court documents. Now, she's supposed to be doing an appeal and claiming she got more information. I read that too. But I'm just telling you.
But why? Like, I don't get it.
Louis, she is obsessed with Louis. And a lot of it is fueled, they say, by Margaret.
That's crazy.
But she's not being sued. They literally can't sue one another. If y'all go back to Potomac, the reason that Michael Darby could sue, and they still end up throwing his out, Candace, was because he wasn't under contract. And they still threw that out. And that girl literally said that he pays a hooker and named the hooker, whoever this guy is, to have sex with him. And he didn't even win. It didn't even go to trial. It was thrown out. So come on now. Like, you can't.
Right.
So use some common sense. All of these people that's saying that Louis is suing anybody on his cast, that is a lie. They can't. Their contract forbids it. Now, could they possibly try to do it many years down the road? Hey, that's possible. That is possible. That is possible. But even the longest money, which series was that? I think that was Housewives of Beverly Hills, where I watched Beverly Hills during COVID. I actually binge watched it during COVID. And then I actually got COVID and had to spend 7 days in my basement.
I'm dead. Not you got COVID.
Yes. So I literally binge watched 8 seasons of Housewives of Beverly Hills. And in one of the seasons, it was one of the early seasons, it could have been season 2 or season 3, there was a secret. The whole season, somebody sued. From the first episode all the way to the end. You never knew the secret. I had to call my auntie, and my auntie had to tell me the secret. Because it was somebody, it had something to do with somebody's child. It was an Adriana. Who was that really rich lady who had the on Beverly Hills? I believe her ex-husband was Middle Eastern or something. I think it was her. It was something in regards to their children. Their children was like surrogates or something. It was something that I thought was insignificant. But I don't think their children knew that. And somebody has said it on Beverly Hills. I don't know why I just ran down this rabbit hole. I have no idea why.
Because I'm trying to think of who you talking about. You talking about Adrian?
I think it was Adrian. There was a scandal. It was either the 2nd or 3rd season of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, it got to be Adrian.
And there was a secret, and they sued the network because somebody told it. I want to say Brandy told it.
Yeah, it was Randy and Adrian and them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they didn't tell their secrets the whole season. I don't know, it was something. Oh, a lot of my point is Bravo tends to leave out. I think this was my point. Bravo tends to leave out a lot of stuff to leave to our kind of imagination, which causes a lot of issues, in my opinion, with us later when we have conversations. They purposely don't add apologies that have definitely happened. I don't like that because I think that's unfair to the person that they want to create as a villain. Like, let us make up the own mind. Let us say who the villain is. I don't like it that they create villains. I don't like it. Or that they're purposely going to leave in something that makes a person look a certain kind of way because it fits the narrative that they want. I think that's kind of unfair to the viewers and call this reality TV. Because there are
Right.
people that take this stuff for real. They think that what they see is the real thing. And you wouldn't believe how many conversations that I have with people that have real emotions about these individuals. Like, I'm in this one New Jersey group. I have never, like, it's like 10,000 people in there, 10, 15,000 people in there. And I don't know how many people, talk regularly, but they hate Teresa. Like, it's insane, the things that they say. Like, I don't have like the amount of emotions that they have. And it could be me reading because I'm just reading. I don't know these people. Nobody's talking to me. So a lot of how I
Oh
feel,
no, it's they hate Teresa.
oh my God, they hate her. I hate her. And I every time when I watch it, I'd be like, why? I guess because I look at them like they're entertaining us. So she's funny. I think she's quirky. I don't have any emotional connection to any of these people. It's people that I like, it's people that I don't like, but I don't understand the the emotions that I believe that I'm reading. Because I just don't understand it. Like, there are people that are happy that their reunion was canceled. I'm like, who do you think they gonna hurt?
Right, they're hurting us.
I'm like, do you really think this is gonna hurt Teresa? I mean, of all the people. Because I'm like, the thing that I've heard about Teresa is that that girl is a workhorse. That she will
She'd have been on House of Villains, Traitors.
not just that, and she does like local stuff. People want to pay her $10,000 to do this, $5,000 to do this, 8,000. Like, I heard that she does that a lot. That's, when people maybe host a show or come out and make appearances and sign autographs or take pictures. Like, people do that to bring people indoors all the time. And I heard she does it a lot, and maybe they all do, but
Yeah. Well, back to the dinner scene.
yeah, go ahead.
I just for the life of me, because this kind of really the last part. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is with Danielle. She kind of still had her own brain. Like, girl, I don't know what to say about that for
I
real.
think, you know what? I'm glad she asked her that question. I'm really glad that she asked her like that in front of everybody, because I think the question is stupid. Why would you think that they would set you up and they begged you not to say nothing? I think she would have had a legitimate argument had she said, I think that they used me to put the story out. I could agree with that. That
Right.
would be the truth. But to say that they set her up, absolutely not. Like, Jennifer begged her not to say anything. And I could guarantee you, like, if we want to have real conversations, it was the producers that kept telling Jennifer, do it now, do it now. This is the finale. Do it now, do it now. And that there was this urgency behind to do it. Like, that, they wanted the big scene. That's what they wanted. Bravo wanted. And Danielle gave it to her. If anybody used her, I guarantee you it was the producers. Because Teresa wasn't involved, but Jennifer begged her not to. And Jennifer, as she said, we're listening to their whole storyline unfold. I couldn't, because if I told you that, then I would have had to tell you that she already knew. So then you have to wonder if she already knew because Teresa told her, and she already knew because who else did she say told her?
No one told her but Jennifer.
No, before that. Since they already knew the rumor, why were they reacting like that? That's a legitimate question. If they already knew this
Right.
rumor, why react like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It
like how they
didn't
blew
make
up.
sense. That's why I was saying we were literally watching. If you go back and watch that scene, that should show you how fake this whole thing was. Because because we already knew they knew, because it played into a storyline. But for them to really respond like that, it didn't make sense. Like, why are you mad? We already knew it was a rumor. We already knew it was told. They knew about it. And this wasn't no new rumor. It wasn't even new to half the people, because when they played it on TV, I remember thinking, I thought they did this like 2 years ago. This is old. I still don't understand why it came up. I really don't know why that rumor came up, because it's very old. But I don't know. Go ahead. What did you think about the argument between Rachel, though, and Teresa?
Yeah, because they kind of like ends off the episode. I think it's again comical, just all over the place. It's just like, girl, y'all started with Teresa, number one. You study calling Teresa a has been, but it's just like, girl, you and your husband are never been. Y'all haven't been anything. At
I
least
said they are
she
8 men.
has.
They are 8 men.
Like, girl, like, please, like, how many times you gonna say that? Like,
Yeah.
ugh. I'm glad Teresa got up and left, child. Cause, girl, fuck the people. Good day. And that's all.
And my thing is, there are people saying that she's gonna talking about a lawsuit or libel. He was arrested with narcotics. That's true. There's actually a police report out there that you can pull up. Now he can argue that the charges were never charged, or they dropped the charges. But I
Mhm.
mean, he was picked up for narcotics. They don't pick up people at random. I did got pulled over by the cops a few times in my life. I ain't never been arrested for narcotics. They don't do that at random. I ain't never known nobody who got arrested for narcotics and they truly did not have narcotics.
Right.
Like, for
Right.
real. Now, whether or not, word on the curb, which may not have a lick of truth to it, let me tell you, and this is just word on the curb, but word on the curb is he a snitch. And snitches get they
Stitches.
charges dropped.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. I said stitches, but that too.
Yeah, the snitches get their charge. They say snitches get stitches, but maybe he was just dealing with some low life, and it was probably some low level drug dealer. He wasn't no big time drug dealer, but he was probably selling some weed. Somebody said in the group he was selling weed and what's that stuff that a lot of black people don't do, but a lot of white people do? It's
Coke,
no, black people do coke.
heroin,
No, it's like
fentanyl,
no, it rots your teeth.
meth,
Oh yes, meth. That's what it is. That he was selling meth and weed.
and people in the comments have said they used to get it from him. So
Yeah, a lot of people have said that. I've read that. People said, "Oh yeah,
you
he's."
see my comment. You see my comment in the chat.
Oh, okay, okay.
All right.
So yeah, I get that. I get that.
Bye,
So
guys. See
yeah,
you
he
next
must go.
week.
So anyway, I'm finna let it go. That's it for us.
Yeah.
And I will see y'all. I mean, that's pretty much it anyway.
Yeah.
But I really hope this season picks up. I heard. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna head out.
Okay, go ahead. I heard that the finale is the reason why they canceled the reunion. And in a couple of the groups, they're saying that something like really happens. It's supposed to be really big. I don't know if this is supposed to be a shake the table moment, but they claim that you'll understand why they have to do what they have to do on the finale episode. I'm trying to think of what else. I'm trying to think of what else, but I think that's pretty much it, y'all. It was something else I wanted to mention, but I think that I already have. I don't know who started that argument. I didn't understand why the fooders are arguing with Teresa. It seemed very calculated to me too, because Teresa pretty much kind of ignored her for most of the season, and then toward the end, I didn't understand it. But anyway, everybody might feel different. But anyway, that is the recap of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 14, episode 5. See you here next Monday. Peace and peace.